And our next keynote speaker is going to talk about this. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the head of sales and marketing at Charge Cloud, Jens Thomas.
Hi, thanks for the introduction. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a pleasure to be here at the ICNC as to meet so many dedicated people, old friends, but also new fellows that are connected to the scene in a way you wouldn't expect in the first place. Because it's not only about chargers and cars anymore, it's about a complete e-mobility ecosystem. And I'm happy to share some thoughts about how digitalisation changed the way we experience mobility today and how it affects business cases in a way we have not seen since the invention of the internet. But first things first, for the very, very few of you who do not know who's Charge Cloud, we are a software as a service company based in Cologne, founded back in 2016, with a strong focus on managing charging hardware. We consider ourselves as one of the last independent backend providers with white label cloud solution, because despite the fact we have 3 shareholders, we can completely autonomous decide on our product roadmap, on the partners we like to work with, on the customers we like to serve, or the hardware we would like to be compatible with. We did quite well, actually. So we started off with 2 employees back in 2016, now reaching a number somewhere between 95 and 105 or something like that. I completely lost track. We're serving our customers mainly in Central Europe, but also in the US and Australia. So far, the commercial gap. Not only at the ICNC, but everywhere, people are talking about e-mobility and that it became some sort of mass market phenomena. Never before have electric vehicles been that popular, you might think. But already 120 years ago, electric vehicles had some sort of boom, as there were more battery-powered vehicles on the road than petrol cars. To be fair, there weren't that much cars at the time on the road in general, but I think you get my point. So the question is, what happened since then that it took so long for us to achieve the point we are today? Well, ever since e-mobility had to take some bumpy roads with a lot of chicken and the egg dilemmas, crossroads, decisions, and obstacles on its way. And one of the first obstacles that e-mobility had to deal with were the 2 world wars, World War I and World War II. Because due to the rapid evolvement of technology, petrol became quite cheap. And due to the war, there was a huge demand for vehicles with long range and refueling in a quite short period of time. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? So therefore, there was a huge investment in petrol cars, and battery-driven vehicles got a little bit behind and nearly disappeared after the world wars. Much later, we had this classic chicken and the egg dilemma discussion going on, whether we should, place chargers first, or should the car manufacturers should come up with new electric mobiles. The whole discussion took ages and prevent e-mobility from gaining up speed. Nowadays, we're talking about should we place fast chargers all along the Autobahn or even in urban areas, or should we invest in grid innovation and grid stability first? I think most of you would agree that artificially increase the demand for electric cars by incentivizing them has been a good idea, but there were so many discussions about should we also incentivize plug-in hybrids as some sort of bridging technology that still supports combustion engines, or should we straight focus on pure battery electric vehicles? Even today, OEMs are discussing internally if they should invest resources in making combustion engines more efficient or do the complete turnaround and refocus on the development of electric motors, digitalization, or battery technology. And one of the most recent topics, especially here at the ICNC, is ISO 15118, plug and charge, and the discussions of who should be the leader over there. Is it the hardware manufacturers that should come up with a ready-to-go solution? Is it the car manufacturers who should implement plug and charge first? Or is it a topic for the software developers to show the proof of work? But despite all obstacles, I think it's quite obvious that cloud software and eMobility are going hand in hand. So as a cause and the solution, digitalization has pushed the car industry and the OEMs to transition into eMobility. But it's not only the car industry alone that is doing this kind of change. I mean, the whole concept of mobility and how we perceive it, how we use it on a daily basis, is now evolving into a complete digital ecosystem. And with all the software powering this up, and with all the connections, the advantages of eMobility become even more apparent. So, I mean, if you ask someone, what's the main advantage of driving electric, people come up with, yeah, it's zero emissions, I can drive environmental friendly. But there is so much more to it. With all the digitalization, it's now possible for OEMs to constantly and remotely, via cloud services, monitor the car's functionality, even interact with it after it has left production site. Due to the rapidly evolving technology of sensors and cameras, driving assistance systems become increasingly intelligent, leading to completely autonomous driving at some point. Due to clever algorithms, maintenance will become quite predictive and highly automated. So a friend of mine recently got his message displayed and popped up into his navigation system that he reached now 30,000 kilometers, and car's now ready for oil change, and the system automatically did an appointment at the service station, but it was an ID4 who doesn't need any oil, so still some tweaks necessary. OEMs are now in the position to offer microtransaction to unlock features even in an after-sales process, like, you know, extending range or putting more power to the engine or something like that. Or like BMW does, offering a monthly subscription for seat heating. So the possibilities are endless. And at some point, I'm quite convinced that the car will become a marketplace for several cloud vendors or service stations or whatever. So it will be a centralized digital hub for any additional service you might think of. And last but not least, software is also very important to have a convenient charging experience. I'll get to that in a second. To sum this up, the whole evolution now leads to a more modern, more comfortable mobility experience on the customer side, but also allows OEMs to explore completely new business models, to step into roles they've never been before. So OEMs are now battery manufacturers, they're software developers, they become an energy providers. So that's completely the result of the whole digitalized evolution we're experiencing today. And all that needs a high number of cloud solutions with a lot of experts in that field. Talking about charging, you all know charging is quite a complex procedure. It's not only about take your cable, plug it in, and energy flows like back in the days. It's now a whole digitized customer journey. Cloud services are now responsible for communicating the older standardized protocols like OCPP, OC, IP, OC, HP. Maybe we have too many standardized communication protocols, and connecting all this digital information and aggregating the data. Cloud services are now, as a backend, providing energy management. They are responsible for contemporary digital payment solutions, making the whole transaction as convenient as possible for the actual user. Cloud services are now responsible for offering transparent charging logs, reports, and all that stuff that is necessary to run your business model. They are now allowing for very granular tariff and customer group management. And on top of that, backends and cloud softwares are now allowing for high grade of automation until have a fully automated charging and accounting process in the back. And as a company, we're also evolving. We noticed that these requirements or these success factors changed over time. When we were starting off back in the days, there was no that big need for white label solutions. People were relying on RFID cards rather than apps. But as the market became more and more mature, roaming became an important topic. We're now talking about, like I said, energy and load management. A blocking fee, a time component to your tariff is absolutely necessary, especially in Germany. I think in the Netherlands it's not that big of a topic. We are now talking about international tax services relating to the charging experience or to the charging business case. And I would like to pick two of them to explore them a little bit further on real-life success cases. The first I've chosen is eMobility as a non-commodity business. So, at the example of Rexel. Rexel, you might know, is one of the leading wholesalers for electric equipment in Europe. The mother company is based in France, but we're talking about the Dutch division. So, Rexel approached us when they were just selling hardware with no value added on top of it, with no additional service. And they came up with the idea of what can we do to expand that business case? What additional services can we offer to create a monthly recurring revenue on top of just selling the hardware? And so they decided to step actively into the role of being a CPO for their customers, managing charging charging hardware on their behalf, and obviously needed a backend. And they wanted to, in the end, have a complete automated B2B solution under their own brand. And what we did is enabling or offering them our already existing Charge Partner module that enables Rexel to sell pre-configured wallboxes that allow for very simplified wallbox connection process, and everything regarding billing and accounting is now done via the Charge Cloud account of Rexel in the back on behalf of their customers. What we did additionally to that is developing a service partner module for their installers. A complete Rexel branding, we extended the features of our already existing B2B app. So the B2B app is for the customers of Rexel's customers to manage their charging hardware. And we enabled Rexel to offer a selection of tariffs to make the whole process quite easy, but still keep it kind of flexible. And we integrated the whole thing into the payment tool of Rexel. So they are now benefiting from a well-scaling solution with a high level of automation that leads to really, really loyal customers. Because it's not completely Rexel branded, they can offer transparent pricing, and most important fact, they now have a competitive advantage to their competitors, as a lot of those wholesalers are, part of the old economy, are not offering that kind of service. They're just selling hardware, and Rexel is now doing a little bit more, a little bit better. To get you briefly through the customer journey and how it in the end looks like. So the customers, the end customer, the end the one that would like to publish his charge point, is ordering his charging station at the local installer. The installer then orders his charge point at Rexel, gets his pre-configured charging station already with SIM card attached. Then the installer installs the hardware. The customer signs up as a location partner via his B2B app or via web interface, submits his charging station, selects his tariff, and is now ready to go to offer his charging station for public charging sessions. And then every end of the month, he gets his fully automated reimbursement for the kilowatt hours that have been charged at this particular charging station. So everything in the back regarding the invoicing, accounting, and payment is done in the Charge Cloud client run by Rexel. So this is nothing the end customer has to deal with anymore. The second topic I would like to talk about is fleet electrification, at the example of MVV, or MVV as we call it in Germany. So MVV is one of the leading energy companies and covers all stages of the energy business, from energy generation, trading, distribution, and now also offers energy-related services. And they were tackled by a lot of customers running small to medium-sized fleets who were challenged by the whole electrification of fleet topic. So they were coming from this old fuel card world and were looking for some sort of replacement that is also highly automated and allows for these, 3 charging challenges like charge on the road, charge at work, and charge at home. And we wanted to, offer a solution for all 3 of these challenges. And with the end of having a concept fuel card-like. What we did, or what MVV already did, is offering solutions for charge at road and charge at work with already existing Charge Cloud modules, so this is just for our daily basis. And what we did on top of it is offering them our brand new Charge Fleet module that allows for automated reimbursement and automated receipt dispatch for cars that are being charged, company cars that are being charged at home. So they wanted to have OCPP connectivity to the wallbox and a backend that takes care on everything else. On top of that, they wanted to have an app that allows for the user to register themselves, submit his certain price for kilowatt hours, and have the ability for the employer to monitor and report what's going on with his company cars. So in the end, we wanted to make fleet management a piece of cake. To get a little bit deeper into the actual process and the obstacles that come with it. So it all starts off at the very left side, where the employee installs his home charger or gets it installed by MVV. Then it's been connected to the Charge Cloud. It's the Charge Cloud client run by the MVV. And then the employee signs up as an employee, submits his kilowatt hours tariff, and then we're ready to go. And every month, the Charge Cloud client automatically generates a single report for the employee to have an overview of how many kilowatt hours did I charge for my company car, and a collective report for the employer that shows any charging session that has been done by this company car. And then the employer manually reimburses the gross price to the employee. So several questions are to that process. Some of them not really solved. So first problem is the employer can't collect back his VAT, as the employee in most cases is not a business, and therefore he has to reimburse the gross price. Second topic still in discussion is, what does the employee do with his additional income he generates due to the fact that he's selling energy to his employer? Still unsolved topic. And then some of you may ask themselves, why is that reimbursement done manually, why doesn't the service provider in the middle, like MVV that's in this case, just simply collect or invoicing the employer for the charged energy and then transfers the money to the employee? Well, that would make MVV a payment provider. And therefore, he has to register themselves under the law of the BaFin. And if he doesn't act or being an official payment provider, he would violate German law. So therefore, and our advisors are on the same road like we are, therefore, we're not recommending doing that. Instead, we came up with a process that is more automated, maybe fully automated. So it's the same like before, but we're placing an external payment provider on top of that, collecting the money from the employer, transferring it to the employee, doing all the paperwork on top of that, and we have a ready-to-go and law-compliant solution, law-compliant in the state we are today. So maybe in the future there will be different regulations, but this is the model we are convinced is as close to law-compliant as you can get at the moment. And as I already mentioned, there's an app to it that allows the employees to register themselves and for the employers to monitor what's going on with their company cars. One last thing. As I already mentioned, the requirements are changing. And there's now so much more to the business case of eMobility that obviously we as a software as a service company that is focusing on the business case of just selling energy at charging stations can't keep up with any requirement. So we try to implement any new feature, any new requirement that came from the market, but now we stopped focusing on our core business. What we would like to do instead is working with the experts. Let the experts do the work, and we as Charge Cloud positioning ourselves in the middle as a central hub, as a marketplace, allowing for our customers to interact and do business with the experts, and the experts having access to our base of customers, with the end of connecting everything, transfer the knowledge, and in the end have a business that everyone can profit from. So in the end, software is doing a lot of jobs in the background. It's often hidden, but I think we as a software company are one of the champions that are really responsible for making eMobility a success case. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. Don't forget to take your photo at the photo man, and enjoy the rest of the day. I'm now open for questions. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Jens. I have a couple of questions that were sent to us, not through the app, but before. And one participant was asking about your opinion on the biggest challenges in the development of backends for charging infrastructure.
Well, yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges I already mentioned, that requirements are, coming from every side. Another challenge that we are facing at the moment is being highly integrative into existing systems. So when we started off, there was a backend just running on for the customers and being kind of isolated, doing its job. What we're doing now is integrating the Charge Cloud logic, all the accounting, billing, maybe smart charging logic into existing accounting systems like SAP, Azure, and so on. So this is something that really challenges us at the moment. Also, we're busy with implementing credit card terminals. This is something, and plug and charge, always a topic on our roadmap.
We had another question. What are the advantages of a white label approach like that of Charge Cloud? What are the advantages then for the user?
Well, white label approach literally says that it's one solution for everyone. So that keeps our roadmap, or that's the advantage for us to design or to paint a roadmap that is very focused and very market-oriented. But on the other side, we would like to keep the flexibility to interact with our customers' requirements as well. So you have the flexibility to slightly affect our roadmap, but you're profiting from a very stable system that can do the job for a variety of business cases.
Thank you very much. We do have a question that was just sent via the app. Maybe we can bring that one up. It is from Philip. He asks if you can tell us more about the tech stack behind your B2B white label solution.
Maybe the question needs a little bit to be specified. Where's this question come from? Maybe we should talk about that afterwards. Maybe it's a lot of things to explore. We're basically running on AWS. This makes it a very scalable solution. And anything on top of that, I would like to connect you with the tech guys.
And maybe we can just, we have another minute. You can just give us a quick overview of what trends you see in the back-end area in terms of further development. Yeah,
so connecting with other vendors is some strong trend that's going on. Plug and charge is, I already mentioned that, one really, really hot topic. And yeah, there will be a lot of consolidation on the market, I guess. And yeah, I think that there will still be a need for white label solutions, as a lot of customers or possible customers are stepping into the field of eMobility.
All righty. Thank you so very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.
Jens Thomas from Charge Cloud. We appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye.